I'm doing fantastic
Good to hear it.
because you know what? Despite everything, I'm still the Eliza.
Yeah, I figured this was leading into the podcast.
I had a few ideas of like how to like get into this. Like part of me was thinking it's just how do you stop a vibrating vagina? And it's like you just gotta still the beaver.
Fuck
Uh
off. No, no, that's not, that's,
that's in the episode, baby.
I mean, it is, but like, come on now. Come on. You're better than that.
No, I'm not. You know this.
Fair,
I
fair
picked
point.
Still the Beaver on title alone. I am not above that joke, Gordon.
Not just on title, on precedent,
No,
on,
I picked it on title alone.
oh, fair. Yeah. If you hadn't done it for that bit, you still probably would have picked it. But
Absolutely. Because
I,
Still the Beaver's a fucking funny ass name. But oh my God, I was not prepared for what Still the Beaver was gonna be.
you say that, honestly, it was kind of exactly what I was expecting it to be.
So
Like,
let's just get into this. Just give us the rundown and
yeah,
then we
let's
can.
do the rundown. We are talking about Still the Beaver from, oh, I didn't write down the year, 1983, right?
Um,
That sounds
got it.
right.
I got it. Um, it was 1980.
Oh, I do have the year. Never mind. It was just not by the title where
It
I'm
was
used to it
83.
being, because I did write down the broadcast date. Yeah, 1983. Directed by Stephen H. Stern, written by Brian Levant and Nick Abdo. It stars Barbara Billingsley, Tony Dow, Jerry Mathers, Ken Osmond, Frank Bank, Richard Deacon, Ed Begley Jr., Corey Feldman, John Sneed, Richard Correll, Rusty Stevens, Janice Kent, Joanna Gleason, Diana Brewster, Tiger Fafara, Damon Hines, and Eric Osmond. Mostly recurring or returning cast members from Leave It to Beaver. It was broadcast March 19th, 1983 on CBS. Opposite it on ABC, there was an episode of The Love Boat and an episode of Fantasy Island. And on NBC, there was an episode of Mama's Family, an episode of Teachers Only, and an episode of Monitor. Uh, movie did well. It got like a 33 share of the viewers. I don't know why I remember that specifically, but it did. Um, yeah, it did well. My dad called me earlier this morning for unrelated reasons, and I mentioned that I was watching this, and he remembered that like, yeah, this was a big deal. This was a big like, oh yeah, we're checking back in on this show that was big. This was like a cultural thing for the time. So yeah, that is
That's
the
a little
rundown.
crazy to think about. But at the same time, it's like it's not too dissimilar
Kind
from
of, but also like think about like, if today there was a big TV reunion episode, like TV movie of like, I don't know, Friends or some show that was like huge and ended 20 years ago.
yeah,
Like,
like what was 2005? I guess Friends would be a good example.
because Friends ended in like 2004, 2005. Or if
Yeah.
like there was a, like,
Like a
I,
That's So Raven TV movie or something like
yeah.
that.
But like,
But
That's
even
So
more than that.
Raven, yeah, Leave It to Beaver was like a family show. That's So Raven was like a kids show, but like Leave It to Beaver was like huge culturally, as just a cultural touchstone of that time, partly because there were just fewer TV shows, but like, it was a big thing. And yeah, I totally understand why this was something that pulled a big audience, and to some degree still has an audience, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. I did a lot of
God, I'm so excited.
oh, you should be. You should be.
Oh,
But before we get to any of that, so you've been saying this. We've been talking about it, you've been talking about how like how baffled or it's kind of hard to gauge your reaction on this. What about Still the Beaver has been so uh uh I don't know. What are your reactions to this?
so
How do you feel about Still the Beaver?
so I'll go in just like my expectations for this was just like, okay, I'm thinking like, what do I know about like Leave It to Beaver? I just know it was like a wholesome American family. Mom, dad, two sons or something like that. The sons get into trouble and the parents gotta talk down to them to be like, hey, be good. And it was all a big moral lesson. And I expected that this would be just continuing that tradition, except with Beaver as the father, and then he has his own kids that he needs to teach these lessons to. And at a certain point, it becomes that. But we don't start there. We start with I think it's like the very first scene of this movie is Beaver getting kicked out of the house by his wife and losing his job because she wants a divorce. And it's like,
It's the first spoken dialogue in the movie that isn't voiceover from June. Is I
yes.
I'm gonna be because I've done my research here, I'm going to be talking about this like I have a lot of familiarity with the show and the characters. I've never actually I may have seen an episode of Leave It to Beaver or something on like MeTV or whatever, but it's not of the TV shows of this era that I have seen episodes of here and there. This is not a mainstay, but I've become beaver pilled, I guess we'll say. In
You've
my
become beaver pilled. Oh my God.
yes, yep. Just you made the joke earlier. Blanket statement. It's funny that he's called Beaver. It's funny, like yes,
I feel like it
funny.
has to have always been funny he was called
Well, the
Beaver.
thing, I mean, for different reasons though, because like apparently that is not a slang term that was around even in like the 80s as this movie was released. Like that is a more modern, from what I understand, slang terminology. At least I could be wrong about that. I don't
Like,
know. I'm
but
getting that information from the YouTube comments as
but the
well.
thing
So
is, it's like the only real like because it's not a term like a slang word that's used often nowadays.
yeah,
The only context I have for it is specifically the joke in the Naked Gun, and that was
yes.
like 89, which is 6 years after this. It can't have just developed in that time.
I mean, it could have. I don't know the. I'm fuck it. I'm gonna look up origins. I'm
I'm
gonna look
already
up.
looking it up.
Okay. Well, you do that. I yeah. I mean, yes, it is funny that this movie is about Beaver getting divorced and having a hard time connecting with his kids. Like that on premise alone is very silly that that's what this movie is about. Uh, like I don't know. I'm trying to think of again to make another example. Like what is a kids show of the 90s that hasn't been rebooted? Like Saved by the Bell or Full House or whatever. Like what is a show that has child characters of that time? I'm blanking
Um,
on anything specific, but like
yeah, like I can't really think of anything that's like that would be like similar to this, where it's like a all family show. Um,
okay, imagine if they did a Family Matters reboot and it was about how like Urkel is getting divorced. And that was what the movie like the plot of the movie is that Urkel is still like Urkel and he's getting divorced. And then also one of the other kids on the show is now grown up and having trouble conceiving, which is the Wally plot of this is that Wally's wife
God.
can't get pregnant. And then at the end, she does, I
So,
guess.
so I was looking a little bit through just letterbox reviews. I didn't look through comments because you told me not to do that. But I like that one of the top reviews is like it just says Wally says sex.
He does, yeah. Yeah, they talk a lot about sex.
Hmm.
Um,
But yeah,
yeah.
um, oh my God. Anyway,
I
this
mean, it's such a plot point to the point that in the opening narration, she says, she's talking about how Wally and Mary Ellen or whatever her name is have been married for a few years, and she says, still no children, but they're working on it. So she's like, my son fucks. Just so you know, guys, my adult son fucks.
Oh
So
yeah,
that
her and the mom is so proud of how Wally is trying to conceive.
Well, I mean, the framing device is ultimately that she's saying this to Ward's grave. Like she's updating her recently deceased husband about like the things that have happened in their. But like also, I don't know how many years does she say that they've been married. I guess it tracks because they say that on the grave they have that Ward died in like 1977,
Mhm.
and they say I think she says they've been married for like 5 years. Um, I don't know. This isn't like a plot hole type of movie. This isn't a movie that I'm gonna be like CinemaSins brain about. Like, well, this doesn't make sense in the Leave It to Beaver reunion TV movie from 1983. Uh, but I don't know.
Uh,
Really, I honestly don't have much to say about the movie. I'm just very excited to get to my YouTube comments bit, but I will be a good boy and sit back and talk about the movie for real before we get to
okay.
that.
Quick aside, apparently the first known usage of the word beaver, or like perhaps the origin of using beaver to mean vagina, is from 1927, which is a limerick. I'm not going to read out the limerick because there's no point in that. But it's like, but it stemmed from like this children's game where it's like whenever you saw a person with a beard, you would yell beaver at them and you would get points for how many beavers you yelled out.
Ah,
And then it's just like, but then it's like they make a joke where it's just like, oh, the lady has hair on her vagina. That's beaver. Okay. Anyway,
fascinating.
let's go. So the first thing after just the fact that Beaver getting divorced made me kind of insane. It's like I did not expect the movie to be about this. Um, Joanna Gleason is Beaver's now ex-wife, and I'm I just don't like that one of the iconic theater actresses of all time, from Into the Woods, 3 years before getting that role, is fucking Beaver's ex-wife.
Yeah.
I don't like that that's a thing. But she's good in the role. Like especially later on when she has the big I'm going to Italy conversation with him. That was just like a really she gets a chance to like act a little bit because she's clearly like heartbroken about one, leaving her kids, two, leaving Beaver, and three, but also knowing that like she needs to do this for herself. She needs to be her own person. And it's like it's a weirdly like genuinely great, maybe not great, but a good, touching, like real emotional scene that doesn't feel like hacky sitcom bullshit.
Yeah, she's got her own mini Kramer versus Kramer thing going on
Exactly.
in the background of this movie, running off to Italy to become a veterinarian,
Which
I
which
guess.
which yeah, that specific beat of it is like, okay, weird, why Italy?
Yeah,
Uh
that's just silly. That's
but
just silliness for the sake of
although
silliness.
the way
And
she explained it is because there's only like 17 veterinarian schools in the US and all of them rejected her. So she has to go to Italy.
maybe that's a sign, lady. Maybe if 17 if all if I wanted to go to school for something and there were a limited amount of schools up for it in the US and I applied to all of them and every single one of them rejected me, I would maybe think about it a little more if doing that is what, you know, I don't know.
Okay,
I don't
actually,
just
we need the fucking Kimberly sitcom where she goes to
yes.
Italy and then drops out of vet school because she fucking sucks.
Yeah. What if she's just like bad at it? What if like the movie doesn't ever stop to does this character isn't in the show proper, right? Because
No, she's
this
just in the pilot or this
yeah.
TV movie.
Have we mentioned that yet in this episode that this spun off to be a long running revival show
We haven't
of
mentioned it, but it doesn't really matter.
yeah. I mean it ran for 4 seasons, 101 episodes. This movie was repurposed because the show started in when
Oh,
excuse me,
I
I
got
guess
it.
just the next year, just also in
Yeah,
1984.
83
But oh, was it also in 83? Okay.
or maybe oh, maybe that's
Yes.
no,
Okay.
that's counting the TV movie. Okay.
Yes. Okay. The
It's
success of the
84.
television movie prompted the creation of a revival series, also titled "Still the Beaver," that aired on the Disney Channel from 1984 to 1985. In 1986, the series was picked up by TBS, where it aired until June 1989. At some point, it was retitled to "The New Leave It to Beaver," and also this movie was repurposed into being a 4-part pilot. It was chopped up and rebroadcast as 4 pilot episodes.
Mhm.
Um,
Which
and there's a
weird to do that, I think.
yes, but also like you're not going to shoot another whole pilot of like, hey, remember last year when we reintroduced all these characters and what they're doing? We're going to do that again. But also, it is kind of weird to have your pilot episode be about your character getting divorced. So who knows?
Mhm.
Um, I can't imagine it's the case, but I really hope they kept Supertramp's The Long Way Home as the opening title song. two two separate Supertramp needle drops in this movie. You get The
Crazy.
Long Way Home, and then later, while they're at no, it's not while they're at the zoo. At the zoo, it's a Paul Simon song about going to the zoo. I don't remember where in the movie, but they also drop Logical Song for no reason, which like at
It,
least Take the Long Way Home like fits thematically with it's a show about it's a movie about a stupid guy going home because he sucks and nobody pays attention to him and nobody likes him, which is what that song is about. But Logical Song has nothing to do with what's going on here, other than like, I guess, please tell me who I am, kind of like in the chorus there, but like, I don't know why they just put a second Supertramp song in this. It's very strange.
mhm. Okay, you kind of mentioned it, but let's talk about how much the Beaver fucking sucks, just
Yeah,
as a person. It's just like
yeah.
he I don't even know where to begin because it's like
It
I didn't write down the examples. I just kind of wrote down Beaver fucking sucks over and over again in my
it
notes.
also like, I mean, it's kind of pulling from the original show where like the Beaver is a child and Wally is a teenager, and so Beaver is the like the clueless kid who gets into mishaps and everything, and like it works in that show. It works, it's a good dynamic for a children's show. And so much of this movie is about how he is exactly the same as he was when he was a child. And it doesn't help that Jerry Mathers is not a particularly good actor.
Hmm.
And so it's not charming either. It's not even like he's good at playing this dimwit. He just sucks, and it's not watchable. And I think everyone else in the cast is like doing fine. I do think
Hmm.
there are some of the supporting performances that are pretty solid. I think the guy who plays Eddie,
He's
who's
fun.
I mean, it's a fun character in general. It's a very fun archetype that he plays, but I do think he translates that well into what that kid would be as an adult. Like the whole Eddie Haskell thing is that he's this, rebel teen who's getting Wally into trouble, but anytime there are adults around, he's very prim and polite and like compliments them, like, "Oh, that dress looks very nice on you, Mrs. Cleaver," and all this stuff. But behind their backs, he's a little shit. And
Hmm.
I think they do a good job of like, what would that kid be like now as an adult? And it's an interesting evolution of this guy. And the Beaver's just still the Beaver, like quite literally. It's just exactly like he was as a kid, and
Hmm.
it's not interesting. I would have like, it would be weird, but it would be kind of interesting to do a like Eddie Haskell movie of like, here's this like shitty secondary character from a kid's show. We're gonna like spin that out into something. We're gonna do like, I don't know. That could have been something. That could have been an interesting like angle. I don't think the Beaver is a particularly interesting character as presented here. And I don't mean to sound so academic talking about Still the Beaver in terms of like other angles to take, but like, I don't know, I'm kind of grasping at straws for like solid opinions to
Look,
have about this because
you're
it's,
treating this like I treated the Ultimate Legacy.
yeah, I don't know. I do think there are interesting parts to this movie. I don't think this is just a fully like, this isn't something that we're just sitting here laughing at. This isn't like, fodder for jokes of like that degree of it being a curiosity. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't hate this. I thought there were parts of this that worked. I can see how this would work as, a revival of the show and what the like revival sitcom would be like. I don't think it's particularly to my tastes, but I can see why it works. I can see why there are people that like this. Uh, but yeah, I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's I don't know.
I
I don't know.
I do want to go more in on the Beaver sucks arc, specifically on the
Yes.
fact that just how much his kids fucking hate him so much.
Which
Like the, we are really introduced to this whole phenomenon of his kids hating Beaver with the younger son. I forget his name. Um
Oliver, I think.
yeah,
Because
he
the kids
he
just have the same names as the actors playing them, including Corey Feldman.
oh yeah, Corey and oh yeah. Anyway, he wears a cape and a mask all the time, and you think this is just like just him being quirky. It's like a lot of kids like to dress up all the time. But specifically, I think it's Kimberly who says this. Don't worry. The school psychologist said it's a perfectly normal expression of his hostility towards you. And we and keep in mind, he wears this for almost the entire movie, and there's this like big thing at the end where it's just oh, like, hey, don't you want to wear your cape to school? Or like you forgot your cape, and it's like, nah, I don't think I want to wear it today because he finally likes his dad, and it's like
Which
it took this fucking long.
can I say?
Yes,
This movie has is presented as if this is the first time that he is raising these children. He got kicked out of the house like a week ago and has been their father all the way up to this point, and they treat it like this is the first time he has ever had custody of his children, and he's been like an absent father that is now struggling to connect with his kids. That's how the whole relationship is
yes,
framed for the whole movie. Like
and
at the end, one of them is like, we thought we just got dumped here. Like, you've lived with this man your entire lives. Why are you treating him like you've never met him?
and that's the
And
thing.
like, it's I know that it's, so it's supposed to be that they're lashing out at him because they're angry that things have changed because of the divorce and because their mom is gone now, and so they're lashing out at him because he's a convenient like scapegoat for that. But like, it's not presented like that. It is not that dynamic, which that is a dynamic that has been done in other movies and things. And there's this doesn't get that. It's really strange. And I
Yeah,
wonder how much of that is like still a cause of tension over the course of the show.
yeah, it's like so the way I like this movie is kind of 2 hour long episodes to me. The second one is Beaver trying to raise his kids, and that feels more like normal sitcom territory.
There you go.
First hour, it's Beaver just being the most unlikable guy of all time. Like the second half, he's just kind of a bad dad in a normal way. Here, what it feels like to me is he's only fighting for custody of his kids in order to spite his ex-wife. And it's like
Yeah.
he has like everybody around him is like, bro, you're a fucking loser who has no job and is living with his mom now. Like you have no right to be raising these kids, but he wants to fight for it anyway. Not and he it's because he just fucking hates Kimberly. And it's not until the fucking become a veterinarian in Italy thing that one, he even had a shot of getting his kids, and two, that he even realized, like, oh, maybe I don't actually want this, but it's too late now. You're getting the fucking kids, Beaver.
Yeah.
And it's like, and so it's just and then it's like, okay. And then it's like we have to go into like normal sitcom territory. But then it's that first hour, you just hate Beavers so much.
Yeah.
Also random, but I at one point I wrote down Beaver's gay. Don't know why.
I couldn't tell you. Uh,
I no wait. I think it was with it was when he was at the no, never mind. I was thinking it might have been when he's in the gym with Richard, but no, that was later because I didn't
yeah.
write down uh the fucking white guy named Vishnu. Uh
Oh yeah,
which
the
which
convert.
later it's revealed that Larry changed his name to Vishnu because his family was so awful and like beat him up, and he was just so jealous of the Cleavers that he is just like he left everything behind and be like converted to Hinduism or whatever.
Yeah. Is he still in is does that character recur in the I'm not
I
seeing him credited anywhere on either the cast of the show or the cast of the movie.
Yeah, I was looking for because I specifically
It's
wanted to write
Larry, right? Is the
Larry.
the yeah. Yeah, he's not credited on either of these casts. Weird.
It is very weird. Um, Another random note I had, I really like the title, like of course like a lot of these characters have silly names, but I really like the cast list card for Frank Bank as Lumpy.
Yep. Clarence Lumpy Rutherford, according to Wikipedia. Okay, yeah, I do actually. He's not credited on either of those, weirdly, but I do have the story for the casting or the recasting of Larry Mondello, aka Vishnu, pulled from IMDb trivia because this is wild. Um, as they were preparing to shoot Still the Beaver, the creators were trying to locate Rusty Stevens to reprise Larry Mondello. They hired a detective to locate him. The detective found the right house and knocked on the door. Rusty's wife answered, and the detective asked her if it was the residence of the former child star. She replied that he had the wrong house. Later, she told Rusty, and he responded that the detective had the right house. Apparently, he didn't tell his wife about his past life as Larry Mondello. Unfortunately for other cast members whom they wanted to reprise their roles, they were not so lucky. That's referring to the one who was in jail for, I think, substance abuse.
Is that the
Uh,
one that Ed Begley Jr. played?
yes, that's the one that was
Whitey?
recast with Ed Begley. But yeah, um,
Is Ed Begley Jr. in the show proper?
he's not. No,
Okay.
he's one of the. He and Corey Feldman are the two like notable, and Joanna Gleason are the notable names that do not return that aren't like people from the original Leave It to Beaver who are in this and then not in like Richard Deacon and Diane Brewster.
Oh, I didn't even think that they would recast Corey as well.
Yes, they did. It was just a different kid.
Yeah. Did the kid's
Probably
name
because
also change, or is he still Corey?
no, it's Kip. Because in 1984 is Gremlins and Friday the 13th, the final chapter. So
Oh,
Corey
true.
Feldman very quickly became too much of a hot commodity for Still the Beaver, the TV show.
The new Leave It to Beaver, as it were.
Yes. Well,
Got
I don't think
final.
it was renamed until New Leave It to Beaver
True.
until like 2 years later when
I,
TBS got
yeah, you mentioned that earlier,
it. Yeah.
but I just like calling it the new Leave It to Beaver.
Yes. The
They're
new
both funny titles.
The Office. That's what they should call the paper. The Office.
Yes, genuinely, yeah.
That would be funny.
Um,
What other notes do I have?
I'm trying to
My
think
son
of like any
fucks.
notable. Wait, what'd you say?
I was just going. I was repeating. My son fucks.
My
Ed
son
Begley
fucks.
Jr. Uh, don't call me daddy at the office. Uh,
That's
oh, the point where Wally and Mary Ellen are talking about having sex, and she refers to him as the man who came back from our honeymoon in Jamaica without a tan,
yeah, that was good.
as a
Yeah.
direct, we fucked so much. Why don't we fuck anymore? Like
And and
that's
he's saying like, oh, he just liked it more back then. It's just like,
it's like,
oh
yeah,
my
these
God.
are not the middle age problems I was expecting Wally Cleaver to have
I
here, but I guess we know that about him now.
Yeah, it's like I during that scene I wrote down Wally Cleaver is tired of fucking so much.
Yes, he
Um,
used to fuck. He used to fuck real good. Now he doesn't fuck as much. One line that I did legitimately laugh at that I thought was an actually funny line, because it's a whole recurring thing where Eddie is now like a construction worker and he's
oh,
building a house for
I know
Wally and
exactly
Mary
what
Ellen.
line you're going to
It's
say,
a
but
good
go
line.
ahead.
And Eddie, being the Eddie Haskell that he is a shady business guy who's like running he's doing a poor job and all this. And there's a scene with Wally and Mary Ellen talking about. She says that like we have a meeting tomorrow with a new painter to get an estimate. And Wally goes, "Didn't Eddie already hire a paint? Excuse me. Didn't Eddie already hire a painter?" And she goes, "There was a scheduling conflict. He won't be out of prison for 2 to 5 years. Check forging." Which that's a that's a that's a good joke. That is a legitimately very good joke in this movie.
And there was I didn't write down the context, and I feel bad that I didn't write down the context, but it's like Eddie says something about Mary Ellen, and then Wally shoots back, well, at least my wife didn't turn me into the IRS.
Oh yeah, that's it's because he's doing the same thing where he's like being very polite to her. He's like, "Oh, and you look very nice today, Mary Ellen." Doing the that whole thing.
Mhm.
I do think it's also a very good joke that Eddie Jr. is also doing that
I
when the parents
love
get
Eddie
called into the
Jr.
principal. Yeah, I think that's a recurring character on the TV show too. So I think that's like a bit they continue is having uh Eddie Jr. be just the same exact kind of little shit as his dad. Uh Maybe I just really like Eddie Haskell as a character. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
it sounds like you're just really invested in him.
I guess I am. I
Uh,
guess so.
a
Um
a couple other Eddie lines I like. Anything else, Wall? Want to come over and beat my dog? And then
this guy rules. I fucking love Eddie Haskell.
I also wrote down, look at all the bucks you're saving, living at home for 3 months, sponging off your mom.
Yep. Oh boy. What else do I have? Oh, there's a point where Wally and the Beaver have a big fight over
Yes.
playing catch and all that. And
Where
one of
Wally is like kind of taking over parenting his kids
yeah,
because Beavers fucking suck so much and Wally wants to have kids so bad.
and he can see also that that Beaver is doing a poor job of being the ward cleaver and like imparting wisdom on his children. And so he's like trying to mediate and like no, see, I'm gonna be the cool uncle. I'm gonna teach you this. I'm gonna teach you to like Chinese food and catch a ball. And then Beaver sends the kids inside and they have a big argument out on the lawn. And then Eddie and one of the other friends just pull up on the side of the road, I guess. I don't know why, but they just pull up and get out and watch this fight. And the other one is like, "You two can't fight. You're supposed to be brothers, friends." And Wally, or no, Beaver goes, "We may be brothers, but we're not friends." And then he does the dorkiest run up the porch stairs into the house, like arms fully straight at his side, leaning at the 45-degree angle, just like fully, just like the, even if that line had been impactful, it totally gets lost by just the shittiest fucking run. He sucks. Beaver sucks.
Beaver sucks so much.
It
But yeah,
it it
layer
sucks that his wife calls him Beaver too. Like, come on, man.
yeah, fuck Lumpy and Eddie in that scene is really good because it's like Lumpy trying to mediate and Eddie just trying to no, it's
No,
like no, keep
fight,
the fight,
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 fight.
fight.
Yeah, which also, I mean, you do get very early on in this. You get Wally punching Eddie in the stomach, which was like a big moment, I guess. It was like, oh, finally, all these years, finally sticking it to this piece of shit.
He's like, you
So
hit me. You
that's
actually hit me. And that's where the want to beat my dog line comes over.
yeah.
Uh um
Oh boy.
um another line I wrote down, it's when I think it's Richard and Beaver or like Richard or they're just driving a car together and Richard's like, "So what is it, Beav? Depression? Guilt? Overwhelming feelings of inadequacy? How did you know?"
Yeah, this there's some good bits. There's some good sitcom quips in this movie. I do have to say again to bring it back to the whole haha Beaver that's like a sex thing. The best line of the movie early on when Wally pulls up to the house. Hey mom, how's the beaver holding up? Should we start hiding all the sharp objects? Just yeah, yeah. That's
Which
in this. That's a line of dialogue in this movie.
it's but it's still also good in context just because it's like Beaver's fucking suicidal. He might be.
Not no, not even suicidal. Just like clumsy and
Oh,
just like
true.
bad. Just like he's probably gonna fucking hurt himself on accident. That stupid idiot, my 33-year-old little brother,
Okay.
father
Uh,
of two.
an,
Should we hide the sharp objects? Because
per,
he's such a dolt.
yeah, perhaps one of the worst Beaver moments. That somehow I am perennially not perennially. It's I watched this yesterday. Um, one of the most shocking moments of this for me was how I forget where they're why. I think it's when he's driving his kids home to Mayfield for the first time. And
Yes.
like they're like fighting in the car and he's trying to like tell them to stop. And then there's a hard cut and he says like we might get into an accident. And there's a hard cut to him wearing a neck brace. And it's
Yeah.
like the these kids were not wearing seatbelts. Beaver was, but the kids weren't. How the fuck did these kids go completely unscathed? And then you later on they mentioned it's like he crashed into the reservoir and these kids are fine and not fucking dead? What the fuck? Like you don't
He's
he
he's
just like
kind of the modern Job.
he's kind of
Except
the
if,
modern
except if,
Job.
if God didn't punish Job by taking away all the rest of like his, turning his wife into a pillar of salt and all that. Or was that Job? Is that a different biblical story? I don't know. But
I think
like
that's a different story, but it's
it's
similar.
like if all the Job stuff just happened to Job. Like just to his physical body and not to any of his possessions or loved ones. Just like what if the I don't even have an apt continuation to this metaphor. Just like, yeah, Beaver, and he deserves it. Fuck you. Fuck
Hmm.
you, the Beaver.
Fuck you, the Beaver.
Retire
Be
that hat that you've been wearing since the 60s.
yeah.
Oh boy. Do you have anything else you want to say about Still the Beaver?
I am just kind of scrolling through my notes looking for something. Oh, I really just kind of stopped writing notes as soon as like Beaver and the kids entered Mayfield. It's like that second hour just
Beaver and the kids.
shut the fuck up. Um,
Beaver,
I
Beaver, 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 Beaver and the kids.
you're killing me. Um, random aside, but if you if you are familiar with Wise Kids You Know, the comedy group,
Yeah,
I realized that Beaver looks a lot like Timmy Williams from that. Uh,
I
I,
believe you. I don't recognize that name specifically. I'm only sort of cursorily aware of them, of the mostly the Trevor Moore and Zach Kreger bits that get reposted online.
yeah.
But yeah,
Anyway, yeah, don't really have many other notes from this, but it's just like this was this was just such an interesting movie to cover as somebody who didn't know anything about Leave It to Beaver, and it's like, yeah, at some points it's just fucking baffling that it's like this is what they chose their revival series to be about, or the revival TV movie to be about, reunion, whatever. But at other times it's like a decent bit of TV writing. Like it's not great. It's but I liked it. I and I'm a lot of that is at its expense. A lot of it isn't.
yeah,
It's like it's just a little interesting bit of TV history, and I'm glad I picked it. I
yeah. Also, the movie is dedicated to Hugh Beaumont, who played Ward Cleaver on the
oh,
original show, and you get a
that's something
lot
we should
of,
talk about.
yeah. The movie is sort of intercut with relevant clips from Leave It to Beaver of Ward sort of imparting wisdom on the kids, relative to the current issues that Beaver is going through as a father. And I think that's an interesting take. That's like, he had died, I think, the year prior. He died in
Yeah, like
1982.
right
Um,
before.
and the movie, like I said earlier, when you see his headstone, it says he died in 1977. So that this isn't like the immediate aftermath of that. Like these characters are not directly in grief over his death, like so immediately. Which I think is a smart take that would really, have a real dark cloud over this movie if they're all just sitting around mourning their father. But yeah, I do think those interspersed sequences are well used and not like super. They're not. They don't overdo it. They hold back on it just enough for it to be interesting when it pops up.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's like I do really like how often it's like you have they specifically choose scenes where it's like in a very specific room of the house, and then you'll see as the character will exit that scene into the modern movie.
Yeah.
And
I like
it's
when he first shows up at the house, he opens the door and then it cuts to the black and white of him coming in. Ma, Dad, I'm home. Like it did feel like, oh, we're like playing with the nostalgia of this. We are, in as much as this movie is stupid and corny, I do think it has an interesting, like, you know, returning to your childhood home type of nostalgia
Mhm.
to it that it uses well.
Yeah, and it genuinely is kind of interesting, like just how it like you said, it's just like how it is like everything's nothing is really the same, yet everything's still the same. It's just very I imagine it's like it's for a fan of the show that could be a bit like melancholic, but at the same time refreshing.
Yeah. I don't
Anyway,
have anything else to
let's
say.
get into these fucking comments.
Yes, I don't have anything else to say, but you know who does? The good people of youtube.com. So this movie, and not just this movie, are preserved on YouTube by a man named Scott Hetrick, who has uh, 1.6 thousand videos on YouTube that are almost all, well, no, actually not almost all Leave It to Beaver related. 11 days ago, he did upload the Woody Allen on Bill Maher talking about James Bond. Um, and just seen a lot of videos of train stations and trains in movies, but also quite a few uploads of Leave It to Beaver, Still the Beaver, and the new Leave It to Beaver, which, as he gets into on these comments a lot, this show or the show and this movie were unavailable for a long time. And he went back into his old like Betamax recordings and unearthed them and digitized them and put them up for people to watch. And I just on a whim last night was like, you know what? I'm going to look through the YouTube comments to see if there's anything golden to pull from. And about midway through scrolling down and copying and pasting a bunch, I scrolled up and saw that on this upload, which was the actually digitized version of the Betamax and not just him recording his TV screen with his cell phone, which he had uploaded first. This version has 1,241 YouTube comments, and the other one had 1,398. And the second one, weirdly, had a lot fewer good comments to pull from. But this first one, the good quality one, there's a lot. There's a lot of good stuff. And I'm going to be reading a selection from the YouTube comment upload of Still the Beaver 1983 CBS TV movie original cast parentheses revised from June 9th, 2020. So here we go.
Are
First
you
one.
wait, before you get into it, are you just going to be reading one after another?
No, I will be giving context. A lot of these also include replies.
Yet.
Uh,
I I looked at like the first two comments and I
and
realized both of them had replies from the uploader.
a lot of them have replies from the uploader. I will be specifying when they are replies from the uploader because although you may start to notice a pattern on occasion with comments from the uploader, our good friend Scott Hedrick. But the first one,
No, good friend.
his wife calls him Beaver. Reply from Scott Hedrick. Seems odd, but Tiger Woods' wives and partners have called him Tiger. Wolfgang Van Halen's wife calls him Wolf. Bear Bryant's wife called him Bear, etc., etc. Quick aside already. Did you know Tiger Woods is dating Donald Trump Jr.'s ex-wife
Huh,
as of like last year?
did not know.
I didn't know that either, but that led me down a Tiger Woods rabbit hole. He's apparently one of the most by net worth as far as celebrities, not just like people. He's one of the highest grossing. What do you say? Just richest, one of the richest celebrities in the world. And that also led me down a further rabbit hole. I did not realize that Walter Salas is like the fifth richest celebrity in the world.
Oh yeah, he's
He's
super
a
rich.
bank heir, apparently.
And he
Which
uses his fortune to make cinema.
yes, good for him. Good for you, Walter Salas.
He's
Anyway,
like
I can't be
he's
doing double asides on all of these comments.
he's like the reverse George Lucas.
Yes, George Lucas, who is one of the four above him, along with Spielberg, Mark Cuban, and I think David Geffen was the number one.
Yes, that makes sense.
Anyway, new comment. Saw the thumbnail. Looked fun. Spotted Corey Feldman. Hit the back button. Reply from Scott. I've already forgotten his name. Oh no.
Just say
I
Scott.
should know this. From Scott. Reply from Scott. That's too bad you dislike Corey so much. You miss an enjoyable show in which he is just one of numerous actors who are fun to watch. This one, I specified the account name. This was from at Mind Swamp. Still the Beaver is a real clunker. Reply from Scott. A real clunker that was the second most watched TV movie of 1983 and which spawned a Still the Beaver TV series that followed a year later and ran for 4 seasons. New comment. This is in a book, Bad TV. Bad TV, the very best of the very worst. Book by Craig Nelson. Reply from Scott. So bad that this was second most popular TV movie in 1983, and the series ran for 4 seasons, and then several years of reruns. New comment. This was the one that made me go back actually and start copying these down because I was like, this is now a full-fledged segment. I've never watched. Am sure it is pathetic and weak. Reply from Scott. That's too bad. You just assume the worst without watching. And this next one was the one that solidified. This is all caps. They had to make him divorced. Thumbs down, thumbs down, thumbs down, thumbs down, thumbs down, thumbs down, thumbs down. Reply, I think from Scott. No, it must be from Scott reading through it. Just like the original Leave It to Beaver reflected typical middle-class suburban life in the 1950s/early 1960s, this Still the Beaver reunion TV movie and series of 101 episodes over 4 seasons that followed reflected the typical middle suburban experience of the 1980s, with half of families having single parents, with Wally having happy marriage, and Beaver becoming a single father and having his mother help raise his kids. This led to very realistic storylines for the kids, just as the original series did. Reply to that. Beaver was fun as a kid, but what woman would want to be married to him as an adult? Reply from Scott. Millions of women who choose to marry men who are much worse than him, including men who are addicts, abusers, and who don't support their wives or family.
What
Beaver's
the
no Ward
fuck?
Cleaver or even Wally, but he's better than Eddie Haskell, who is married, and better than Lumpy, who is married, etc.
I would rather marry Eddie Haskell.
Yeah, Eddie Haskell's handsome. He's rascally, but he's a good-looking man.
Do you think he'd be good in bed?
No, no. New comment. New comment. Why do he's bees still a beaver? Reply. Why doesn't this have a translate to English tag? Reply. I don't remember if this is from OP or not, because you got triggered into revealing your purpose in life. You're smart. New comment. I love watching the TV sitcom The Beaver. I watch it every day, and I forgot that they made the Still the Beaver. I watch it last night on my phone. I bring back memories. As you can tell from some of the way some of these are written, these are probably from people who watched Leave It to Beaver while it was on TV. There's a lot of old person typing quirks in these. Let's see. GB, Wallace and Eddie. It looks like life's realities have given you the business, and it's downright creepy. Good night, Mary Ellen.
Mm-hmm.
New comment. The good old days when you could kick your husband out when you got tired of him. New comment. If my husband called himself Beaver, I'd kick him out too. Cry laughing emoji, cry laughing emoji, cry laughing emoji. Response from Scott. Haha, better than him calling his wife Beaver. Winky face. And what about Tiger, as in Woods, or Bear Bryant, Goose Gossage, Cat Stevens and Doja Cat, or Catfish Hunter, Mega the Stallion, Lady Bird Johnson, etc., etc.
I mean, Megan's still her name.
Yeah, but he
Wasn't
didn't
Lady
say
Bird
Megan
her
the
name?
Stallion. He wrote Mega the Stallion. Also, I don't think her name was Lady Bird. I think it was Catherine or something.
Okay.
I think Lady Bird was a nickname. Love this. I've seen it a few times. So good and sad. And if they live in a state by a big lake, they surf. Surfer emoji. In the Great Lakes. The time
What?
Wally wanted a surfboard. God bless the Beaver. Response from the same person. We love the Beaver. Response from the same person. God bless the Beaver. Response from the same person. The Beaver, you rock and roll forever. New comment. We love the Beaver and God bless the Beaver. Response from same person. God bless the Beaver. Response from same person. We love the Beaver. Response from same person. The Beaver, you rock and roll forever.
Okay.
New comment. Wow, it was lame then, and yup, it's lame now, lol. Response from Scott. Even if that's your opinion, it was the second most watched TV movie of 1983 in its debut and rerun, and was popular enough to spawn a TV series that ran more than 100 episodes over 4 seasons.
Look, Gordon, I don't know about you, but something is telling me that maybe Still the Beaver was the second most popular TV movie of 1983 and
And it
also
spawned a TV
and
series that ran for over 100 episodes over 4 seasons.
4 seasons.
Yeah.
And it still had reruns.
Yes. New comment. The worst movie ever made. They should turn it into 1 million celluloid guitar picks.
Wait.
And that's not 1 million written out like as numbers. That's 1 million in letters with a dash. Response from Scott. Ha, you obviously don't see many TV movies. I can give you a list off the top of my head of about 1,000 movies that are way worse than this. And by the way, this was the second most watched TV movie of all TV networks in 1983. Guitar picks. Ha ha ha.
What the fuck?
New comment. Beaver had a modern woman and spoiled kids. Laughing emoji.
Beaver.
Beaver. Oh boy. Kind of sad. Hugh Beaumont, Barbara, Tony Dow made us wish for different families. But for some reason, we always wanted to be Beaver or Wally. Praying emoji, sparkle heart emoji, smiling emoji, sunglasses emoji.
Sounds like a reply from Vishnu.
Response, no, I want to be Ward and getting some June tail. Response to that,
What the fuck?
he was a, all caps, real man.
No, he wasn't.
Or no, Ward Cleaver. Ward Cleaver was a real man.
Oh, I thought you meant like real man as in real person,
No,
not
no,
real
just like
man as
real
in
man.
like the ideal man. Okay.
The older son of the Beaver is Corey Feldman. Smiling emoji. Response from Scott. Yep.
Yep. Part of me wants to go back and just write a comment. I don't know
Oh
what I want
god.
to write it as, but maybe I'll tell him about the podcast and give him a link.
Maybe. If he does listen to this, if you're listening to this right now, sorry for being mean to this movie, but also thank you so much for preserving this genuinely. Like all sincerity, the movie that we're doing next week is a movie that we had nowhere to find. We ended up having to buy a DVD from a retailer of these old movies. So thank you very much for being a preserver of these of this media. Like quality aside, our opinions aside, if you're listening to this point, thank you so much for keeping this up for for people to watch and these this is having a very good time with these comments. So thank you so much.
And I think he'd appreciate that we are like even though we aren't like fully in love with the movie, like we are still like giving it a fair shake. We are complimenting the movie on the things we think it did well. And it's like I think he would appreciate like us like
I
not
hope so.
making a total joke of the movie,
Yeah.
even though we do
And
joke about some things.
yes. And this whole bit with the YouTube comments, this is all done in good fun. We are not, poking fun at any of these commenters. I just YouTube comments are their own beast, and there's plenty more. So let's get back to it. These next ones are all separate comments from the same account. I just love a happy ending. Beaver needs to tell them like your mother doesn't want you, she not a good person. Halt to the Beaver should have done it those kids as what my father done to me. Something needed a good butt busting.
Huh?
As in like spanking.
Oh,
Beaver married a real doozy, is a B asterisk asterisk, and I selfish one at that. Can you come get parts for a 65 Mustang and 1983? It's 2023, and you can still get parts for a 65 Mustang.
no replies from Scott.
Not that I wrote down. This next one is from a fake Susan Wojcicki account. The like old, is she still the head of YouTube?
She's not the head of YouTube. She
She's
left.
not. But it has a profile and a name that's supposed to be her. Kimberly is so brave and stunning. And then a response, not from Scott, but just from someone else. No, she is neither of those. Rude, nasty, spoiled, and disrespectful. And definitely not stunning. Eye roll emoji.
Some of these people sound very divorced.
Oh, yes. I am actually going to pull this up because What is this timestamp? 1229. Oh, it's the funeral. Okay. When it cuts to that briefly. At 1229 in 1983, I was 8 years old, literally punching the wall crying. My mom looking at me like I was a lunatic. Response from someone. Eye roll emoji. It kind of sounds like you might have been a lunatic. Okay, this is another comment that out of context is wild, but in context it makes sense. Not about okay. The actress that plays Beaver's wife. I wonder if she was in Mr. Holland's Opus, the governor that gave the speech. Which, yeah, that's on its own a totally normal comment. I do like the idea though of just any actor you see in anything. I wonder if they were in Mr. Holland's Opus.
Um,
I wonder. Maybe.
like she
You
might
never
have
know.
been. We're not gonna find out.
We're not. Okay. This one, Art Garfunkel, Paul Simon, musicians, actors, plus Paul Simon and his parents, was used in government mind washing experiments.
Mind washing experiments?
Apparently, Paul Simon and his parents, done by the government. Okay.
I when I didn't realize at first when you said that it's like that was like a misspelling of government. I thought it was like
No,
a name like the government
they
mind
also
washing experiments.
misspelled experiments as EXSPERAMINTS.
What the fuck?
Okay. A few more off this video and then a few more off the other one. Okay. A real life character like Beaver Cleaver could never, all caps, have survived into adulthood. His over the top carelessness would have led to his ultimate demise during his teenage years. He probably would have made a bet with Larry Mondello that a train could never in a million years decapitate him if he were to lay down on the train tracks. Mondello probably would have picked up Beaver's decapitated head and then taken it back to Beaver's parents and said, I think there's something wrong with the Beaver.
What the fuck?
Just writing your own Beaver Cleaver death fan fiction in the comments here.
Jesus Christ. Like, why so specific? Why is Larry taking his fucking head and showing it to his parents?
I don't know.
That wouldn't happen.
Okay,
Vishnu would never.
never. Uh, uh, Jerry Mathers is back. Try Tony Dow is back. Response from Scott. Did you mean to say thank you for dredging up this show from nearly 50 years ago and posting it here for free for you and thousands of others to see? Haha. Separate comment. Or another response from Scott. And I get your point about Dow, but the show is called Still the Beaver, which was Jerry Mathers. So they couldn't say Jerry Mathers and Tony Dow are back and they are still the Beaver. Another comment that, again, in context, sure, but out of context, very funny. Was this set in the same universe as the new Leave It to Beaver? What if the answer was no?
The,
What if it wasn't?
into the Beaververse.
Into the Beaververse. Okay. Surprisingly, not nearly as many unhinged comments on the original upload. It was a lot of like, pointing out that the video quality was bad because he had just filmed his TV with his phone or a camera or something, but still a few very good, very good ones. Okay. Great show. American families were very similar back in the 50s and 60s. I watched the show when it first appeared on TV. America has lost all morals. There is nothing left. Getting close to the end of USA. Thanks for the videos.
True.
Response, better move to Russia then. Cry laughing emoji. Laughing with a bead of sweat emoji. Response from OP in all caps. I have lived in Russia when it was communist and after. It's great. My family came to the USA in 1653. I am just watching it decline.
1653?
I guess. Came to the USA in 1653. Probably a typo, but I like to think it's not.
But like it said lived in Russia before communism and after. And it's like 1953 wouldn't even make sense for that.
No. Yeah. I don't maybe he moved back to Russia. Maybe, but also your family didn't come to the USA in 1653. There wasn't a USA in 1653
A
to
plot
be.
hole in this fucking Commodore's comment.
Yes. Corey Feldman father is the Beeves, no freckin' way.
Beeves, no freaking way. How many
Yeah.
more comments do you have?
Uh let's see. 6, including 2 replies.
Okay, let's go.
Loved the show Leave It to Beaver. Watched it all the time. Loved Eddie. Hello, Mrs. Clever. You're looking so well. You're looking well. So cute and funny. Loved Wally. Nobody clicks on stuff that goes on for hours. Response from Scott. Right, just you and the 500,000 viewers that click on this that runs for 87 minutes.
Oh wait, I thought we were
You
on the
tell him,
shitty
Scott.
upload.
No, this is this. Yeah, it is. This is the second one.
Why is Scott there?
Yeah,
Did
it's
Scott?
also from him.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
realize Scott did both.
Yes, he had done this one first and then uploaded a second one once he digitized the Betamax thing and not just filmed it with his phone
Okay.
or with his camera or whatever. And it did make going through the comments on this original upload less fun because every time I saw the like collapsed replies of like, it has his, YouTube profile of like responded to this. I was like, ooh, are we going to get a good response? And no, it was mostly just like, check out the new version here and then a link to the new one.
Oh.
Okay, a few more. Did Larry Mondello really lose his mind, or is it just as character? Response from Scott. Rusty Stevens was an actor like everyone else on the show. And our last comment, and if you want to cut the episode right after this, you can, unless you have more to say. I can't believe this show never thought to explain why Theodore Cleaver was called the Beaver. They have a lame exposition in the very last episode, but in reality, it was prob a sick inside joke about Jerry Mather's face looking like a private part.